So I drove around for an hour today, went to the store, buy some stuff, drop off some things, and on the way back, I went to Chevron to grab some drinks and a strawberry ice cream. As I was driving home in the KRX, I reached over to grab the ice cream and realizing then that, oh shoot, I forgot. I have a crank in the back seat of my passenger side, and also an ostrich. Let me show you guys. So I went to go buy combustion leak tester for the homie CRV right there, and I totally forgot there's a freaking LS crankshaft sitting back here. I went to my cousin's barbecue a couple weeks ago, and this crank was in his garage that he's been carrying with him from house to house, and this was actually a backup crank for his CSS B series LS VTEC in his right-hand drive EK 4-door. Now the car has been sold a couple of years ago. It got parted out, I don't know where it went, and the crank has just been kind of sitting around. It's a very clean crank. I'm probably gonna send it off to the machine shop to get it like polished and have it on standby, because if you guys remember, Bronson hooked us up with a B20 block that he thinks might have a spun bearing. So when we get to diving into this short block right here, if we need a crank, we have a crank. Also, if you guys remember in the B2D days, my cousin was doing a lot of HTS stuff, and he was street tuning a lot of our Honda equipped cars, and he went and bought pretty much the ostrich, the Moets, like everything to, you know, do the HTS for the cars that didn't have S300. So he gave me that, and it's crazy because he learned how to tune from Evans Tuning, from Hunter Tune, and PFI Speed. He did really well, and again, you know, life went on, and you know, he hasn't been touching cars in a long while, so he just kind of gifted me everything for hopefully one day in the future I'll use it. But anyways, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys remember, a couple of videos ago we were working on the homies CRV, and we were trying to figure out why the cooling system was getting pressurized. Now the simplest way to see if there's any type of combustion mixing with the cooling system is to get yourself a combustion leak tester, and it has this tube that you got to fill the fluid in, and then you squeeze it to see if there's any gas in the cooling system that's going to change the color of this. I believe it's supposed to turn like yellow or something, and again, the simplest way to do it. Now if there is some sort of combustion gas in the cooling system, just to stay busy, I think I'm just gonna attempt to pop the cylinder head back off the car, right? Because if there was a crack, it will verify that there's a crack. If there is no crack, nothing visual after pulling the head off, I do have a head gasket in the car that we can replace the Chinese head gasket with, in hopes of it not pushing any more, you know, pressure into the cooling system. If there is a visible crack or something else that is potentially causing the pressurized cooling system that we can't fix, at least the cylinder head is off. We can drop the whole entire engine and swap in the B16. So I know I talk a lot in my videos, guys, but I love to just explain things to y'all and let you guys understand what goes through my head when I do these things. So with that being said, let's cut the yapping real quick, move the car off the driveway, and get that CRV here. Okay, so I'm not trying to get the car super hot, right? In case we need to pull the cylinder head off, I can get to it rather than cool the car off. So in the instructions and also on YouTube, the combustion tester, it's very simple, right? You got this tube right here with the rubber end on it. This goes into the coolant neck, which the car's not hot, so I can take this off right now, right? And you fill up the tube to the line with this right here, test fluid, combustion leak test fluid, and you take this little, like, I don't know what you call that, little vacuum sucky thing, and you pretty much pull the gas through, if there are any gas, through the radiator neck into the tube to see if it changed the fluid to a greenish yellow color, and that will indicate that there's combustion gas in the cooling system. You can rent this from the parts store, but I figured I work on cars a lot, and this is a nice tool to kind of have on hand for, you know, situations like this. So I bought the kit from Harbor Freight because they had one, and I did go there for other things. You can also buy this from the parts store. It costs just about the same price, as well as the fluid, which was like $10.99, and that should last you a little while. So show you guys the tool real quick before we get started. Literally, this is all it is, right? Just these two, and then the manual. So again, you put the fluid in here, fill it up to the line, and then you put it on your radiator neck. I don't know which way you're supposed to do this, but maybe I should read the instructions. But this goes on top, and you squeeze, and you squeeze. Go ahead and fill this up. To the line. Guys, this thing is not changing color at all. At all. That's still pretty blue. That is still pretty blue. It's a lighter color, but it's not turning yellow. I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys. I don't know if we have any combustion gas in the cooling system, because that's like maybe teal, not green, not yellow, but a little teal, like the color lightened up a little bit. So yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do after this, because I was just about ready to pull a cylinder head if this thing was gold, if it was yellow. But it's not. The coolant is rising up in the radiator neck right here, though. That's a big bubble. This thing has already changed color and is contaminated. Let me show you guys on the exhaust system. Yeah, that changed color. That is green, guys, and somehow we have more fluid in here, so that's kind of odd. So this is the second time that I'm doing it after the car is warmed up, and it's starting to look more green. It's starting to look more green. You guys can see the difference most definitely right there. Guys, this is crazy. So I left the tool sitting on top of the radiator without squeezing this at all, and it literally just turned yellow. It literally turned yellow. Look at the lettering. That is freaking yellow. that is combustion gas in the cooling system. And as I'm sitting here, the catch can is smoking. Something is cracked. Has to be. So the longer I let the tool sit on top of the radiator, the more vibrant the fluid becomes. South Park piss yellow. If you know, you know. But anyways, that's a clear indication that we have combustion gas in the cooling system. So I got off the phone with the homie Nomis Industries, and we both kind of agreed that the block might be warped. 260,000 miles, the head and the block wore down together. We pulled the entire cylinder head off, got it resurfaced, got new valves, I think 8 valves put in with the valve job, along with new seals, and the cylinder head is now on the block. Compression 175, leak down test, all 4 cylinders under 15%. But because the block has never been decked or anything like that, we're thinking that it might slightly be warped. We don't know if it is or isn't. I should have straight edged it. That's all me. Didn't really think about it because the car didn't have any issues before coming to me other than cylinder misfire, right? With the new head on it, it doesn't misfire anymore. So I didn't think too much about the block. But according to all the tests that we've been doing, it's either a crack block or a warp block. And if I spent the time to take the head off to see if it's a warp deck or a crack block, it's just a waste of my time to do the work because we're gonna pull the entire thing out anyway. So I also got off the phone with the homie Eric, and oddly enough, he thought that the car stayed here because we are doing the B16 swap, but realistically the car stayed here because I wanted to do further tests, like this guy right here. And I was talking to him and he was like, he doesn't want to waste any more of my time. He said that it makes sense to just have me put the B16 in it and not waste any more time. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put the B16 in here, which he bought as a spare motor for this car anyways. And that's something we're gonna be doing this following week. Now in this video, we're not putting the B16 in here. In this video, now that we're pulling the motor out, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull the entire swap out of this car and get it prepped for the B16, because one, the motor's not here and I don't know what's on it and I don't know what's to prep on the B16 to go in here, so that's going to be saved for a later video. But in today's video, we're going to pull this entire swap out. May not be right now because I did let the engine run hot and it is still pretty hot, so I'm gonna let this cool off. Maybe I'll mess with it tonight, maybe I'll mess with it tomorrow morning, but I'm gonna let this cool off because my cousin did pull up, and we're gonna be doing more disc brake caliber bracket conversions. Man, we've done a couple of them. You guys have seen it here on the channel, and this is his new project pretty much. So you guys know we've been extending a bunch of like Huffies and Schwinn's and stuff like that. He actually bought already an extended bike. This is a Dyno Roadster. A Dyno Roadster. Right, and I saw it on the tire too, right there. Yeah, so it is converted e-bikes on the hub. It's got 2 batteries on here. 2 batteries. Yeah. Sheesh, 2 batteries. He's got custom pegs on here, and he is converting it over to disc. So he's gonna be making the brackets out of steel. You already made the template. Yeah, so he's got the template. I mean, already mocked up, and then it's pretty straightforward because straight frame. Yeah, so he's going to transfer it over to metal like we've done all the other ones, and we're just going to spend the rest of our night to convert this thing to disc brake. So while that thing cools off, we're going to be messing with this again. I might start on it tonight, might start tomorrow, I don't know, but at the end of this video, motor's going to be out of the car. I'm sorry guys. So I've been sitting here contemplating on pulling out the motor right now because it's so damn cold right now that the engine is actually chilled down pretty good. It's not as hot anymore, so I think I'm just going to continue tomorrow. It's like 9 o'clock right now. But anyways, my cousin transferred his cardboard template over to this sheet of steel, and he's already drilled out the holes to make sure it fits the caliper bracket. And then we're going to cut this piece off. You guys know the drill. I'm going to mock it up on the bike. If it looks good, bring the bike to the table, tack it, double, triple check it for the 1000th time, and then burn it into the bike frame. There it is, caliper bracket that we need to weld onto the bike frame. We're only doing the rear because the front, he's probably going to change the fork out later. Now the whole concept of the spring front fork is cool and everything, but it's a little sketch when you're doing like 35 plus. But yeah, it is already kind of set up for the disc, but we're gonna do the bracket for that later. It's a little tricky too because of, you know, placement wise, but this one is for the rear. It's gonna be somewhere right there, just like we did all the other ones. So right now he's gonna align everything, and then I'm gonna clear the table out so we can get that on my welding table to burn the steel. Hey yo, this thing boogie. This thing freaking boogie, guys. Check out the brakes. Look at that. That shit's freaking awesome. This thing is smooth, man. Like, my cousin just barely finished putting this thing together, and I did take it for a spin. I did 22 miles down the block before the intersection, and dude, I need to get with the gang. That's what I need to do. This thing is sick. This light's sick too, man. Shout out to Slimeball. Oh, that's finally, yeah, I finally just opened it like right now, just to kind of get some light going, because all my flashlights are charging right now. But rear caliper bracket done. Look at that. This light is like a perfect circle, dude. Yeah. It's like a spotlight. Sick with it. Yeah. So last night I hung out with my cousin till about 12 o'clock before he went home, just kind of taking turn mobbing his bike and just kind of catching up with life. So I decided obviously not to touch the car because it was already late, even though I probably could have pulled the motor out by 1 o'clock or something. But today we're gonna do just that. We're gonna pull the engine out of the CRV. But before we get started, I want to kind of touch bases on a few things here really quickly. So yesterday I dropped the video where the car came in, we did the water pump replacement, we flushed the radiator itself, and just a few other odds and ends as far as testing goes to see why the cooling system was pressurized. Now there's a bunch of comments on it, and a lot of the comments, I feel like maybe you guys haven't watched the series of the CRV build before that video. I read the comments, I do, not all the time I respond, guys, and there's just some comments that are kind of like, you know, you guys are so certain that it's the problem, but we've already kind of touched or addressed it beforehand. So the CRV, a lot of you guys are saying, oh, it's the head gasket. A lot of you guys are saying that, oh, it's the cylinder head, it needs to resurface, or whatever the case is, right? The initial reason why this car is here is because it needed a head gasket job. So we did that. We pulled the head off, rebuilt the head entirely, decked the surface of the cylinder head, put it back in with a new head gasket. Although it was China, it was a new head gasket, new water pump, new time belt, new tensioner, a bunch of new seals, a bunch of stuff to get this thing like freshened back up, right? That was the first thing we did with this car. So yeah, it could probably be the head gasket because it's a Chinese head gasket, and realistically it says on the box for CRV, but you know, stuff from eBay sometimes is never accurate. It could be a head gasket from you know, a B18 or some shit, right? And it could be flipped upside down, I think, and you know, you could block coolant port and passages that would cause the cooling system to not flow efficiently, right? Sure, yes. And even to this point, I'm assuming that it's the head gasket, but after doing all the tests and everything else and kind of seeing like the smoke out of the catch can and whatever, like I think it's more than just a head gasket, right? So obviously Eric did buy a head gasket and we were supposed to change it, but I wanted to do more work to it. And now after doing the combustion fluid tester, it's definitely something in the chamber, but he told me, you know, don't waste time with it, just put the B16 in there because he already bought it. A few other things. Oh, the heater core doesn't, you know, get hot because I punched the thermostat out. None of my cars have thermostat. The heat works phenomenal. This car, the thermostat, yes, is punched out, and the one that was in it prior is still in the car, is brand new. It's a brand new thermostat. We changed out the one that was originally in the car when it came here. A new thermostat still didn't fix it. I punched the thermostat out, still pushing coolant through the reservoir. The heater not working, I don't think it has anything to do with the car having or not having a thermostat, okay? And I punched out an old unit just to save the new one. So at the end of the day, we still have a new thermostat to use. Some of you guys were saying that it could be the radiator. In the video, literally showed me flushing the radiator, and it was pissing water out of the bottom hose after, you know, running it for like 2 or 3 minutes. The radiator flows, and prior to my buddy buying this car, the radiator was replaced. So it's a new radiator in there for the most part. A lot of you guys were telling me, oh, it's the radiator cap. The cap is not holding pressure, or whatever the case is. We went to 2 radiator caps, and this one right here is also brand new, still not holding. It's a 1.1, so the cooling system is definitely pressurized more than 1.1 bar, which is like 16, 18 psi, somewhere around there. I don't think it's the radiator cap. Other random comments, like somebody was, not even one of you guys, I think 2 or 3 of you guys commented saying that, oh, your rotors are still on backwards. I don't know why you haven't changed the rotors. Like, you guys watched the initial video when I did the rotors. The rotors came with an L and R, right? And I've talked to a lot of track guys even before installing the rotor. It doesn't matter, realistically, it doesn't matter which way the blades are supposed to cut or slice, unless the company specifically says that it needs to be on a certain way. So the rotor had L and R, right? There's no way you can get L and R wrong, but it is slicing forward. You guys see that? And then if you guys come over here to look at my stop tech, it's the same thing, right? Cutting forward. What's up, Lucy? She's hella camouflage. You guys can barely see her. But yeah, it's just, guys, the comments, you guys do help me a lot of times when I read them. A lot of times, you know, I can understand some of you guys may have not watched the previous video, and then sometimes the comment are just dumb as hell, dude, and it's kind of like one of the reasons why I don't really like get to it. There are times that I do read the comments and I respond back, is when like we're on a off day or something where I can actually sit there and like go through all the comments, right? That's why some of you guys may notice this when the video dropped 3 or 4 days ago, and then you guys see a reply from me like, you know, 3 or 4 days after the fact is when I found some free time to do so. But trust me, your guys' comments do not go unnoticed, right? I even noticed some of you guys even deleting comments because, again, I pay attention to all the little things. But at the end of the day, whether the head gasket is flipped backward or it's blocking the passage or it's the wrong head gasket or whatever the case is, Eric doesn't want me to spend the time to waste with that and throw the head gasket on, put it back together, and see if it'll, you know, fix the issue. Same thing with replacing a radiator, to see if that might be the problem. We know it flows. The car drove here without an issue, so we're just gonna pull the motor out of the car. He has a B16. He wants VTEC. He wants to make over 300 horsepower, and we're gonna help him achieve that goal. So again, with this entire video, yes, it's a lot of talking, but you know, sometimes the days kind of go like this where I can easily just pull it out, put the other one, call it a day. But because I want to get down to the bottom of what's going on with it. That's why we spend time to, like, you know, think about this, you know, run it through the scenario, call friends, ask around, read online. I'm doing literally the research as I am going. But by the time this video is done, the motor's gonna be out of the car. He should be dropping off the B16 later today, which then I'll prep and get it all ready to go back into the car. I'll take you guys along. I'm putting a VTEC engine into a CRV. Some things are going to be new to me because you guys know I don't ever run AC or power steering, so I got to figure out the whole bracketry setup. But, you know, worst case scenario, I do have the B18C 1 GSR sitting here, and I do have all the brackets and everything that should bolt onto the B16. So yeah, throw you guys on the laps, and I'm just gonna get right to it. 4:37, let's get started. To be honest with you guys, this took a lot longer than it was supposed to, but the engine is out. In the process of taking out the engine, the homie Eric came through and dropped off the B16. So this is an EM1 B16A2, so it's already an OBD2 engine, and there's a lot of stuff missing off of this, but a lot of stuff we can use off the B20. So this is what's going to be going into the car. Look at that, non-VTEC distributor, but it'll work. Clip VTEC wire. I noticed that a lot of the seals has been changed out, but yeah, anyways, when Eric dropped that off, I was on a phone call as well too. Week Fest is coming up. Some of the homies hit me up for parking spaces for truck and trailer, so I was on the phone with them for a little bit, and we got back to it. Took a little while. Granted, everything is factory in this car, and everything had to be unplugged, but the engine is out, and what I'm going to do right now is pretty much just clean everything. I'm going to clean all my tools, clean all the parts, drop the car back on the floor, clean all my bolts and everything. Surprisingly, I didn't really make a mess with the cooling system at all, other than whatever that is, but that's a record. So I'm going to clean everything up, and I think what I want to do is I want to separate everything we need off the B20 that we're going to be using on the B16 and get this to be less heavy, because I also realized that I don't have any more big dollies, which is why I have 2 tiny dollies on the B20, and I'm going to need one of that to put on the B16 to roll it back underneath the car to put into the CRV. I'm going to run you guys through this really quickly. I spent about an hour and a half to strip down the B20 for everything that we need, about 95% of the parts. So the B20 is sitting right here, and the only thing left I need to take off of the B20 is the crank pulley and the timing cover. It's an OBD2 timing cover, so it should kind of bolt up to the B16. Granted, the B16 is a short deck, so it's going to be a little tall over here, but not a big deal. I'd rather have a lower cover than to not run one at all. And we're using the crank pulley because I don't trust this for a boosted setup. If you guys remember, we had one of these on a B20 VTEC Turbo, and it shattered the oil pump gear. So we need the timing cover, the pulley, and we also need to rob the post mount for the CRV that goes right here. Aside from that, the B20 itself is, you know, just gonna hang out there until everything is all said and done. But we pulled the engine harness off the B20 as well, non-VTEC CRV OBD2 harness, and we're going to keep this harness on the B16. In a later video, I'm going to run you guys through everything you need to do to make this work on there, along with all the VTEC wiring and such. But we got the harness right here, transmission is pulled off, and in case you guys didn't know, man, the CRV B series all-wheel drive trans has this 14mm bolt extra that goes right here, right? You get your typical 17s, your 19s. This one right here, it's hidden a little bit. So it's been a while and I kind of forgot about it. I was like, man, this thing won't pry off. But anyways, transmission is taken off, and I did take off the flywheel. We're going to reuse that. Oddly enough, it looks really good. No warpage, no crazy discoloration whatsoever. And also, it's crazy to say, I'm almost certain that this is the factory clutch. This is the factory clutch, and it looks good. Never slipped. Doesn't make weird noises whatsoever, and it's got a lot of meat left on it. But factory clutch, we're going to be changing that out with the ACT clutch you picked up right here. Now this was in an Integra, and it ran for a little while. The car parked for like a decade, and the guy parted out the car. So this clutch is really good still, and it just needs a light cleanup, and this should work perfectly fine. So we're going to be running an ACT 6-puck unsprung. I just noticed it's unsprung. This is some back in the day shit right here, but anyways, I used to run that back in the days as well too. Transmission, flywheel, clutch, and then over here on the table, just want to talk about these real quick. The AC bracket fits perfectly on the B16. All 4 bolt holes lined up, and it's off right now because I'm gonna clean all of it. We got the half shaft with the hardware. We have alternator bracket, upper alternator bracket. B series has 2 of these. Same configuration, except the top bolt is different, right? One's thin, one's thick. The thick one right here, if I use the short alternator bolt, this guy right here, it won't go all the way through. So this thin one is going to allow us to bolt the alternator, so we need to switch that out. Obviously with that, we have the alternator, oil feed line right there. What else? We have the starter with the cables. We're going to be using the B20 distributor because this is an 8-pin connector, where this one is a non-VTEC as well, but it's a 10-pin, right? 10-pin connector. Is not going to plug up to the engine harness, and this is already a non-VTEC distributor, so we're just going to use that non-VTEC one because we know it works. Other than that, I think we have just about everything aside from a couple of stuff we need to order. Turbo manifold, turbo lines right there, all the turbo piping, downpipes all up there. We need to order PTFE line because we're going E85. Eric wants to change the line from the front to the rear to the front, and go PTFE-6. He also got a stainless steel filter already, and again, he wants to crack 300 on E85 with the stock B16, which is 100% doable. So we need to order lines. We need to order a rear main seal because I want to change it out. That is the hardest thing to do of all the seals around the engine, is the rear main seal before the flywheel, before the clutch, before the transmission. Rear main seal. I need to order more stainless steel -10 bungs because when I boosted the B20 originally, I used my last bung, which was a screw-on style. It's hard for you guys to see, but anyways, I'm not going to take it off this oil pan, so I'm going to order some new ones so I can weld it onto the B16 oil pan for the return line. A few miscellaneous odds and ends like fittings for the fuel rail and stuff like that to go PTFE all the way. But yeah, I think I'm done for tonight. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video on straight up just assemble the B16 to go back into the car. Not entirely put the car back together because realistically we're not in a rush, but I want to spend time to like clean the transmission, clean the long block, assemble this thing entirely with all the components we just shown you guys, along with the engine harness, everything, before we put it back into the car. And then there will be another, I guess, another video of like, you know, the final preparation before the first startup. And the reason why I say this is because Eric picked up the S300 ECU from me today to drop off to the homie Nomis Industries tomorrow to get the ECU refurbed because Facebook seller said it was good and the ECU's junk. So the homie Nomis Industries is going to refurb it, and he's going to pick up the Honda 4-bar map sensor from him as well too, because Nomis is a Honda dealer. So I don't know when it'll be back, but the car obviously is not going to go anywhere until we get the ECU. So realistically, we're not in a rush. I'm going to do the engine preparation, the installation, the first fire up, and also in between all of that, this weekend in 2 days we're going to the USDM Super Meet in Famoso Raceway in Bakersfield, and we're going to be racing the KRX. I want to run this thing one more time all motor before we tear it apart. the first and last time I took this thing to the track, I did a 1260. I took home second place and has never been back to the drag strip. So I kind of want to have fun with this car. Tomorrow I'm going to prep it, fit up my slicks and everything, and we're going to take a 3-hour drive to Bakersfield to see what this car does. It's a TNT all day, just a show to attend and hang out. A lot of my friends are going to be going over there, so it's more like a chillax, you know, fun run type of day. So we're going to go racing this weekend, guys, and when we get back from the track, we're gonna go hammy in the CRV. I'm gonna spend the rest of my night to put everything back into the garage, but before we close out this video, I think I have 2 packages to open with you guys really quickly. So I have these 2 packages that I picked up from the PO box a couple of days ago, and it's been sitting here on the table because we just went to Race Wars this weekend. But I'm gonna open up this first one right here, Amazon Fulfillment Center. See what's inside. Cut away from yourself, not towards yourself. Ooh, okay, so we have some sandpaper here. There is no note inside of here, and we have some sandpaper. So 15 sheets of assorted 6, 8, 1,000, 15, 25, and then multi-surface sheets 9 sheets of grit 60, 120, 320. It's funny as heck because they're colorful like a craft paper. This one right here is 120 and 320, 48 pieces, and I mean, I'm pretty sure this is an assortment too, because there are also different colors in there. Whoever sent this to the P.O. box, man, much appreciated, because there's nothing in here. This will definitely come in clutch for when we start doing the bodywork on the KRX and the silver sedan. The reason why I say the silver sedan and the KRX is because they're both the same color, and if I'm going to buy paint for one or the other, I may as well buy enough to do both cars. The gold profile just corrupted, but it said repaired. Second package right here says it's from Golden State FC LLC out of Tracy, and I've actually seen this name a couple of times on packages that was sent over to the P.O. box. So shout out to this person who continuously support the channel. Let's go ahead and cut this thing open. This package also doesn't have any notes inside of it, and it looks like, ooh, we have 5-inch hole sanding disc, and there are 10 pieces of 180, 240, 320, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 15, 2,000, 3,000. Good Lord. I wonder if this is the same person, because that package was sandpaper and these are orbital like sanding disc, and this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. Ooh, look at that assortment right there. Ooh. Oh, I'm gonna have fun with this one just because it has the higher grit sandpaper, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, because once all the projects are done, running and out of the way, we're gonna be moving the JDM EF2 to the driveway, and we're gonna cut and polish that paint. And these are the sandpapers we need and use to do that job. So Golden State FC LLC, much appreciated. If you sent the other one as well too, thank you for that as well. Definitely gonna put these to use. But anyways, we're gonna wrap it up for this video right here, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the CRV being back on the driveway, and I am gonna add this to the playlist of when the CRV first came in a month ago for the head gasket job, the turbo kit installation. Make a whole playlist on just this car specifically. Show me some love, man, please. The CRV did really well back in the days. The CRV content today hasn't been doing so much, and it's hurting me more than anything right now, but I'm still continuing to share the CRV content with you guys, and I don't ask for much at all. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you guys want to stick around for more CRV content, because we're going to get this thing dialed in and we're going to take it to the dyno. So if you guys want to see the completion of the CRV build along with some racing this weekend, the KRX back to the 1320 track, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.